Alright guys, it is time for the July shoutouts. I've been doing this lately since April, and I do 5 a month since April of this year. Now I did some a long time ago, so I decided to restart it again back in April. So here we are in July now, and I'm ready to make my next list here. The first one I'd like to talk about is Tarantula Girl 99, and she has a wealth of videos here, several uploads. Let's pull them up and take a look. See, look at all this. Leopard geckos, tarantulas, whole bunches of videos, and I've really been enjoying them here lately. So as you can see, plenty to watch. She's got some feeding vids, handling, just some cool updates and such. So yes, very nice. So I highly recommend you check her out and give her some subs. I'm sure she would greatly appreciate it. She's very nice, and seems to also know what she's doing when it comes to her teas at such a young age. Alright, let's see who number 2 is. I've been watching this guy for a while, Frankus. He's also one of my favorites. Posts fairly regularly. Let's pull up his vids and see what he has. But scorpions, tarantulas, there's the BTS. He even has his own pet shop, millipedes. Just more teas and more teas. Awesome stuff. And true spiders, he has a lot of those he posts also. So yeah, look at all that. Plenty to watch here. He's been on for a while, so if you haven't been watching his vids, you've been missing out. So check him out. There you go. Alright, Frankus. Alright, let's see who's number 3. And I haven't been watching this guy for too long, but from what I've seen, I've been highly impressed with his vids. Moran. He's the kind of person that posts vids talking about new ways to do certain things with your teas, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even think of that before. It makes perfect sense. So check out all his vids. He does a lot of unboxings, reviews of merchandise that he gets. You know, it does a lot of husbandry of the tarantulas. But yes, he has a very nice collection here. Seems extremely knowledgeable with the tarantula research that he's done. It's obvious. But look at all that. Fun stuff to watch. So yeah, so you'll definitely be entertained watching all of his vids. Wealth of information here. So yes, I highly suggest you check him out. Sub. You won't regret it. Alright, 2 more. Here's someone else I really enjoy watching, Greg Rice. He's made some really neat molting videos, time-lapsed molting, just rehousings, husbandry, feedings, pretty much everything you like in tarantula videos. So yes, I also highly recommend you watch his vids. He also has great quality in his vids. So, well, there went my cursor. I was like, where'd my cursor go? See? Plenty more to watch. Look at that. P Metallica giving a threat posture. Funny. So yeah, awesome stuff. Even has one that's real interesting here. Tarantula drinking water in time lapse. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I highly recommend you check him out as well. Alright, one more to go for the month of July. And finally, for the month of July, I have Glitter Walk 333. Very sweet lady. I think her husband does a lot of her filming while she works with her teas. She has a very cute accent, by the way. I love to hear her talk. But yeah, look at all this. Tons of rehousings, feedings. She also knows what she's doing when it comes to husbandry. So yeah, look at this. Unboxings, molts. Again, pretty much everything you want to see if you are a tarantula enthusiast. So yes, I highly recommend that you sub to her as well. Definitely worth watching her vids too. Very sweet young lady. So yes. Alright guys, so that does it for the month of July. Stay tuned for August. And here's just a review of the shout-outs I did. Those are the ones I did in April. And then there's May. I write them down because that way I don't forget and do someone more than once or forget about someone. And there's June. And then you just saw July. Alright, let's see what else is on the agenda. Guess who molted? And I was really scared when I looked inside the enclosure because I just saw this crinkled up tarantula and all it was the molt. So I thought like it was in a death curl or something. Thankfully not. It had molted. This is the Tarantula Isis. Or at least that's the way it was sold to me. I could be wrong. I've been wrong about these before. But, and you know what else makes me incredibly happy? It's a female. And as you could see, part of the abdomen of the molt was torn. But thankfully I was able to see the flap. So definitely 100% confirmed female. So I am ecstatic. So yes. I'm a very happy camper. And I don't know if she's out and about right now, but we'll have to check and see. But yes, successful molt. All good. Alright. There she is. Freshly molted. Tarantula Isis. Isn't she lovely? Oh, she's going to be even more lovely when she hardens up and gets noticeably larger. Let's see, that molt, I would say she used to be about 3 inches, so now she's probably about 4, something like that. So, she is doing awesome. And see, this is another reason right here. This is another enclosure right here. I'm going to get rid of that wood. And another thing I thought about doing was buying some isopods. You know, like little roly-polies, pill bugs. I think it's the same bug. To help clean the enclosures that are loaded with more humidity. You know, like my Theraphosis. Especially. I need to put some isopods in there maybe to clean up mold and mites that could potentially form. And so yeah, I'm going to get rid of that wood. I'm just sick and tired of dealing with it. And I'll probably wait just a little bit longer for the tea to harden up. It's very fragile right now, and that would just stress her out immensely. I don't want her thrashing about. So if she made it this long with that mold on there, I don't think another day or two will hurt. But I'm going to get it out. But she's doing awesome. And I think another thing is, like, if you'll look, my Theraphosa Sturmy enclosure there, the wood there looks great. And I guess it's because being that this is a vivarium tank, the humidity doesn't get as high in there as it does in here. So wood is more likely to mold in here anyway. But doing fabulous. Alright, we'll leave this one alone to harden up. Alright. Look who I caught molting. Cyclosternum species McCullough. Check it out. And I knew this one was about to molt. It refused food last time. Never did eat its cricket. So I took it out. And the abdomen just kept getting darker and darker. And it still has a little water in its dish, but I'm going to add a little bit more and kind of mist over on this side away from the tarantula, because as you can see, the tea is not flipped over yet, so I'd rather not disturb it any more than I have just by opening the lid very carefully. But I'm very happy to report that it appears to have had a successful molt. So I'll show you later what it looks like in its new clothes. Don't know if I'll be able to sex it though. It's a very tiny tea, but we'll see. Alright guys, I think I'll end this video with handling of my Grammostola pulchripes, the larger of the two that I own, the female. I meant to handle her in the last handling vid, but I forgot. So here she is making her appearance. There's great debate as to whether or not tarantulas should be handled. Some people are adamant against it. They think that under no circumstances they should ever be held, and then there's others that hold them all the time, and then there's people like me who hold them on occasion. I think as long as you do your research on which teas are completely off limits and which ones could be handled, but just keep in mind, every tarantula that you hold could bite you. So every time you hold a tarantula, you are at risk of getting a bite. The old worlds I do not handle at all. Now, I have accidentally handled old worlds before because they may have escaped onto my person when I was trying to rehouse them or whatnot. But I do not purposefully, willingly handle them. When I first got my Poecilotheria striata, that one did escape onto my person, and I thought, well, while she's here, I'll take a few pics. She was only a juvie, and yes, juvies could still bite, but I wasn't as scared of a juvie biting me versus an older tea, because juvies are more likely to run than they are to bite. But like I said, it can happen anytime. Tarantulas are wild animals. If at any time they feel threatened, they can certainly use biting as part of their arsenal. So just keep that in mind. Every single time you handle your tarantula, you could get bit. You could get a bite, and it would be your fault. It is never the tarantula's fault if you get a bite. Never. So just remember that. And this is a New World tarantula, so the potency of the venom obviously would not be bad enough to put me in the hospital or cause me excruciating pain. But it would hurt, and I'm willing to take that risk by holding her. But it's one of those things where you kind of have to know your teas too. You know, each tea has its own personality. This tarantula here is very forgiving. She was like crawling all over me one time, and I did not want her to crawl on my back because they're very hard to retrieve once they get on your back. And she was headed that way. So I kind of had to molest her a bit to get her to get onto my hand, the palm of my hand. And she didn't bite. She didn't even threaten to bite. But there are other teas out there that would very willingly bite. So you just have to keep that in mind as well. This tarantula here is a very docile tarantula, which is why I'm willing to hold it. And then there are other New Worlds in my collection that I would not hold because they're typically not docile. They're very skittish. They're either very runny or they can be defensive. So I don't hold them. So yeah, if you know your tea pretty well, you can be more lenient about holding them, but just keep in the back of your head, even they can bite you if they're having a bad day. So yeah, but I definitely have several tarantulas in my collection that are purely look but don't touch tarantulas, because their bite would be medically significant. But this girl here is a absolute sweetheart. Very forgiving. I mean, it's as if she doesn't even know she has fangs. I don't even think I've seen... No. She did attack prey in the last feeding video. But, I mean, she's catatonic. She's so docile. And I'm thankful to have tarantulas like that. I like to have a mixture of tarantulas that you don't touch at all, and then some that you could handle occasionally. So, but yeah. So I'm kind of like in the middle of the line. I think it's okay to handle your teas as long as you know them, you've done your research. You do it safely, not only for yourself, but for the tarantula. Like, don't hold them far off the ground. Because if a new world like this falls onto the ground pretty high up, it could burst its abdomen and then it would die. It'd bleed to death. So yeah, you just have to keep stuff like that in the back of your head when you're working with your teas. So yeah, sweetheart as can be. The majority of my tarantulas I do not hold. But there are a few that I do, as you've seen in some of my handling videos. And this is definitely one that, there are people out there that say, oh, tarantulas don't get anything out of it. Well, how do you really know that? I think people don't give tarantulas enough credit. She might like the warmth of my hand. You never know. I mean, it is true. It's probably mostly for the keeper that gets something out of it than the tarantula, but still, they're really fun to observe and interact with. Alright, well, that's all I have to say about that. I've rambled long enough on this topic. Feel free to leave your comments, and I think we'll leave it at that. Stay tuned for a big feeding video coming up. It'll be up next after this upload. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always, and thank you for always leaving such kind comments and leaving likes for me. I greatly appreciate that. Alright, take care guys.